Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Sean Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling you in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announces compensation for crop damage. Assistance to farmers increased to 1.5 times. Banks asked to restructure loans for affected people. Mudra Bank for small entrepreneurs launched. New institution to provide credit of up to 10 lakh rupees for small entities, will act as regulator for microfinance institutions. A day after 20 alleged red sandal smugglers were shot dead in Chittoor district by Andhra Pradesh police personnel, protests break out in Tamil Nadu. Air operations to Yemen to evacuate stranded Indians comes to an end, though they will continue for another day. Close to 4,000 Indians rescued from the war-torn country. And yet another fatal shooting in the United States involving a white police officer and a black suspect. South Carolina police officer charged with murder. Top story this evening. It's almost wrapped up, but India has decided to extend its rescue mission in Yemen by another day to bring home Indians who were caught in the crossfire. Around 4,000 Indians residing in Yemen have been evacuated from the war-torn country for now, ending more than a week-long operation, though it's lasting for another day amid heavy fighting. Thousands more were rescued since yesterday by the Indian Navy and Air Force.
The mission is accomplished. Almost all the estimated 4,000 Indians stranded in war-torn Yemen have been evacuated. And the government has all but wrapped up the Operation Rahat, involving Indian Navy and Air Force to bring them back home. INS Tarkash ferried 74 people to Djibouti from Al Hodeida, while INS Sumitra will ferry out one of the last batches. Air India will run its last evacuation flights from Yemen's capital, Sana'a. The government has asked all Indians who want to leave to reach the capital. On Monday, India rescued more than 1,000 people by plane and ship, the second time in 2 days that such a large number have been brought out amid heavy shelling. The rescued people were brought back to Mumbai and Kochi in special flights.
डर के जी रहे थे, बच्चों की स्कूल की मुश्किल, मतलब हस्बैंड ऑफिस जा रहे थे तो वो आते नहीं आते, वो आने तक बहुत डर और खौफ था. बहुत मदद करी है उन्होंने, वहाँ से शुरू से लेके अब तक हम बहुत हेल्प किए.
हालात काफी खराब है सर, क्योंकि 9 अप्रैल तक निकलना है वहाँ से. Last flight will be there from Sana'a to here. It will be on the 9th of April. तो उसके बाद काफी हालात बिगड़ेंगे. It may turn to the civil war.
Fighting is going on. We came from Thais, coming from Thais to Hodeida. From Hodeida to Indian government more supported us, and the Tamil Nadu government and Kerala government. From Cochin to we are going to our native place. Thanks for the governments and thanks for our media people also.
India is also helping other countries like United States, France, Germany to evacuate their citizens from the country embattled by Saudi-led airstrikes against the Houthi rebels. Minister V.K. Singh, who is overseeing the evacuation process, met with some of the foreigners rescued by Indian ships.
Very appreciative of you, and very well treated and looked after, and I'd like to thank the Indian people for bringing us home. Thank you very much.
Absolutely can't say enough about the Indian government for helping us to get out of Yemen. Thank you very, very much.
We all want to thank them. They are very nice people, and everything was easy for me, even though I am Yemeni. And the visa thing, in the embassy, people there, everyone is working for the same purpose, for the same aim, only to help people.
Meanwhile, 11 Indians who were evacuated by the Pakistani Navy from Yemen's Mukalla city reached Karachi and are expected to return home on Wednesday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the situation within Yemen shows no signs of easing. The US says it is speeding up weapons deliveries to a Saudi-led coalition bombing Houthi rebels who have taken up arms against the government in Yemen. Meanwhile, continuing airstrikes besides pitched battles at many places have meant the human situation sliding from bad to worse. Here's more.
More arms supplies from the US to the Saudi-led coalition that has mounted massive airstrikes against Houthi fighters in Yemen, supported by Iran. Washington is also to step up intelligence sharing with the anti-Houthi alliance.
Saudi Arabia is sending a strong message to the Houthis and their allies that they cannot overrun Yemen by force. In support of that effort, we have expedited weapons deliveries, we've increased our intelligence sharing, and we've established a joint coordination and planning cell in the Saudi Operations Center.
This video released by the Shiite Houthi group appeared to show an airstrike taking place in the Yemeni city of Sana'a on Monday. It appears to show the moment of explosion and thick smoke rising from the targeted area as residents ran for their lives. Sana'a has turned into a ghost town. But the airstrikes and 3 airdrops of weapons have helped fighters push back the Houthis and their allies from some of their positions in the southern provinces around Aden and to disrupt Houthi supply lines.
استهدف بيت أحد المواطنين وهو آمن هو جهالة منهم صار 6 شهداء وهناك 8 جرحى بعضهم حالتهم خطيرة.
ندي ونستنكر الحادث الإجرامي الذي حدث في قرية بيت بجار من استهداف للمنشآت المدنية والمدنيين.
But it's taken a human toll. Some 550 people are said to have died in the last fortnight. According to the World Health Organization, nearly 2,000 people have been injured over the same period. The Red Cross struggles to push in more relief material. 2 plane loads have been sent in.
نحن بوارد اليوم الاتيان ب 16 طنا من المواد الطبية غدا إن شاء الله إلى صنعاء، وفي اليوم الذي يليه ستأتي شحنة من 32 طن من المواد الطبية، وإنما أيضا من المولدات الكهربائية والقساطل والخيم لكي نساعد المستشفيات في إعادة المياه إلى المستشفيات وفي أيضا توليد الكهرباء لكي تتمكن من العمل.
Humanitarian agencies say Yemen could turn out the worst human disaster the world has seen in decades. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
Now, in a major reprieve for farmers hit by unseasonal rain and storms, the government today raised the compensation for crop damage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi made the announcement and also promised it would be easier to claim financial support from the government.
The compensation given out to farmers affected by unseasonal rains and hailstorms has been increased to 1.5 times. The Prime Minister made the announcement at the launch of a microfinance bank and regulator.
अगर उसको नुकसान में पहले 100 रुपया मिलता था 150 मिलेगा, लाख मिलता था तो 1.5 लाख मिलेगा, उसकी मदद 1.5 गुना कर दी जाएगी। कभी हमारे यहाँ इंक्रीमेंटल होता था 5%, 2%, 50% वृद्धि, और ये किसान को तत्काल मदद मिले। राज्यों ने सर्वे का काम किया है, भारत सरकार और राज्य सरकार मिलकर के उसको आगे बढ़ाएगी। लेकिन मैं चाहता हूं कि हमारे देश के किसानों को जितनी मदद हो सके उतनी मदद करने के लिए ये सरकार संकल्पबद्ध है।
To make farmers' lives easier, the Prime Minister has also asked banks to restructure loans of affected farmers and told insurance companies to settle claims faster. The criterion of 50% crop damage for providing compensation has now been reduced to 33%, helping more farmers get compensation for their losses faster than before.
हमारे मंत्री अभी जाकर के आए, उन्होंने प्रत्यक्ष देखा, और ये सब देखने के बाद एक बहुत बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय हमने किया है कि अब किसान का वो जो 50% के नुकसान वाला जो दायरा था उसको बदल करके 33% भी अगर नुकसान हुआ है तो भी वो किसान हकदार बनेगा। उसके कारण मुझे मालूम है बहुत बड़ा बोझ आने वाला है।
In recent weeks, over a dozen debt-laden farmers have committed suicide after unseasonal storms damaged the rabi crop in large parts of northern India. Over 10 million hectares of crops have been damaged.
सबसे पहले तो हमने राज्यों को पत्र दिया कि राज्यों के पास SDRF का पैसा है या फिर कंटीजेंसी फंड है, उससे अविलंब किसानों को राहत दे। जो NDRF का पुराना नॉर्म्स है, और आज हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने घोषणा कर दी है कि वो जो नॉर्म्स था उसको हमने 1.5 गुना कर दिया। लेकिन राज्य सरकार को करना है और उसके पास पैसे हैं।
The announcement of higher compensation comes even as the government battles perception that it is anti-farmer. The government has been trying to push through a bill to make land acquisition easier for industry and to develop roads, ports and power stations among other infrastructure projects. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, in a push to generate employment, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today launched a micro-units development refinance agency bank, or Mudra Bank. Modi said providing financial assistance to unfunded small entrepreneurs will be the government's priority.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi launching the Mudra Bank for small entrepreneurs. The bank will provide credit of up to 10 lakh rupees to small entities besides acting as a regulator for microfinance institutions. Mudra will have finance, registration, accreditation and rating guidelines for micro-enterprise entities besides ensuring client protection principles and recovery methods.
1.25 करोड़ लोगों को रोजगार, ये जो बहुत बड़े बड़े लोगों जिनके लिए दुनिया में चर्चा रहती है, आधा अखबार जिनसे भरा पड़ा रहता है, वो देते हैं। लेकिन इस देश में छोटा छोटा काम करने वाला व्यक्ति करीब 5 करोड़ 70 लाख लोग 12 करोड़ लोगों को रोजगार देते हैं।
Launched under the Jan Dhan Yojana, another important objective of the bank is to increase employment opportunities in the country.
This is funding the unfunded. जिनको आज तक साधन नहीं मिलता था, उन लोगों तक वो साधन पहुंचे, ये इसका एक प्रयास है। इसका आरंभ हम लोग आज कर रहे हैं।
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley announced the Mudra Bank project in his budget proposals this year. The centre is hoping that more aid to small entrepreneurs will speed up development besides providing timely credit for their units. The Prime Minister distributed cheques worth 50,000 each to entrepreneurs from Uttar Pradesh and other states on Tuesday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will take his push to turn thriving India into a major manufacturing and investment hub to the Eurozone's two biggest economies this week on his maiden visit to the continent. He will fly to France tomorrow to finalize the Rafale deal before heading to Germany to inaugurate one of the world's biggest trade fairs.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will begin his visit to France, Germany and Canada from Thursday. His three-nation visit will be packed with high-intensity political, social and economic engagements besides a New York's Madison Square-like event in Toronto. Modi will hold talks with French President François Hollande, German Chancellor Angela Merkel and Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper during his 8-day visit, which was part of India's Link West policy. A key agenda for the Prime Minister during his visit to France will be the Rafale jet deal. French President François Hollande confirmed to reporters on Tuesday that he and Modi will have discussions about the deal, estimated to be worth $12 billion.
There are discussions underway between the French company, our Ministry of Defense, with the HAL, which is involved in this. These are ongoing discussions. We don't mix up, leadership level visits with deep details of ongoing defense contracts.
Modi will also inaugurate the giant Hanover Messe Trade Fair on Sunday. The government is aggressively pushing Prime Minister's pet Make in India initiative in Hanover to make the country a manufacturing hub.
In the discussions which the Prime Minister would be having in Germany, how to get the German government and German companies more deeply involved in Ganga rejuvenation will be very much a theme.
In the last leg of the tour, Prime Minister will be in Canada, where a grand reception awaits him in Toronto.
It's the first standalone Prime Ministerial visit to Canada after 40 years. People-to-people contact is a very important component of our bilateral relationship. PM is also scheduled to have extensive interaction with the Indian diaspora, both in Toronto and in Vancouver.
The event is expected to be as big as the New York Madison Square Garden reception Modi received during his US visit last year. With inputs from Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
So time for a very quick break right now. Lots more coming up on the other side, so do stay tuned.
The 14th Finance Commission. Understand the logic, the thinking. Has it given a fair share to the states?
The Commission has tried to protect the interests of both the centre and states.
watch a special report. A fair share only on Rajya Sabha television.
आजादी के बाद कैसे बदला परिवेश, कैसे बनी संसद, कैसे उठा देश.
When the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
कौन थे वो लोग जो दे गए हमको शानदार विरासत, लोकतंत्र की मजबूत इमारत. राज्यसभा टेलीविजन.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, the killing of alleged sandalwood smugglers in the Chittor forest has sparked tensions between Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. The Tamil Nadu government called it a police massacre against the victims, all of whom belong to the state. The Andhra Pradesh government, however, defended the police action, claiming that smugglers don't belong to any state.
Protests erupted in Tamil Nadu on Wednesday against the killing of 20 alleged red sandal smugglers in the Chittor forests of Andhra Pradesh. All the victims were reportedly from Tamil Nadu. Protesters pelted stones at Andhra Pradesh state buses to express their anger against what they alleged was a fake encounter. Several news reports also contradicted the police theory that they fired in self-defense. Many of the victims were found to have burn marks.
We felt that it is a totally fake encounter, and the opening of fire from the police side is one-sided, and the victims doesn't have any deadly weapons with them.
If 20 people die, there will be 20 liters of blood approximately should be there. There is not even a trace of blood. That is an open area. And also that locks, red sandalwood locks containing paint. They brought it from nearby place, from a godown.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam demanded a high-level probe into the incident. The Andhra Pradesh government, however, defended its police force.
They are in chasing of that people. They are throwing stones and weapons on them, and because of their life is risk, they have opened a fire. The government of Tamil Nadu should not, they should educate the people not to come here as police or anything, and it is not good for the country.
The NHRC also issued a notice to the Andhra government seeking details of the incident. It has sought a reply within 2 weeks.
We have called for a report from the DGP Andhra and also the Chief Secretary, and we will call for further all the details, their post-mortem certificate, forensic report, and also the magistrate inquiry report. All we will call for, and we will do the note.
Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu also apprised Home Minister Rajnath Singh of the situation and sought immediate intervention to put the matter to rest. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
President Pranab Mukherjee today conferred the final round of Padma Awards at a ceremony at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Bollywood megastars Dilip Kumar and Amitabh Bachchan were awarded the second highest civilian honour, the Padma Vibhushan. But Dilip Kumar could not receive the award in person due to ill health. The other prominent figure to receive the award was Prince Karim Aga Khan. Legal luminary K.K. Venugopal, a Dharmadhikari of Karnataka's Sri Manjunatha Swami Temple, Virendra Hegare, nuclear scientist M. Ramaswamy Srinivasan were also honoured. Assamese film director Jhanu Baruwa was awarded the Padma Bhushan for his contribution to art. In sports, women's hockey player Sabha Anjum and captain of the Indians women's cricket team Mithali Raj were presented the Padma Shri. This year's list had 9 Padma Vibhushan, 20 Padma Bhushan and 75 Padma awardees. And here's a look at some of the other news in nationwide. The Congress condemned Civil Aviation Minister Gajapati Raju's remark that he carried matchboxes with him on flights since he is not subjected to frisking. Congress General Secretary Shakil Ahmed termed the disclosure unfortunate. He said ministers are not entitled to be frisked as a privilege, but they should not break the law of the land. Congress MLAs staged a walkout in the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly against the alleged failure of the PDP-NDA government to airlift the body of a policeman killed in a terrorist attack in Shopee on Monday. The minister said in the absence of an initiative by the government, the family got the body airlifted themselves. Terrorists killed 3 policemen in 2 separate attacks. The Delhi government will prepare a detailed report on the National Green Tribunal's order banning diesel vehicles older than 10 years. In an effort to curb hazardous automobile emissions, the National Green Tribunal on Tuesday banned these vehicles from the NCR regions. The order came into effect from Wednesday in New Delhi. Well, some international news now, and yet another fatal shooting in the United States involving a white police officer and a black suspect. A South Carolina police officer was charged with murder a day after a video emerged of him shooting a black man running away from him. The police chief described the shooting as tragic. The killing of an unarmed black teen, Michael Brown, last year saw protests in the United States and a renewed debate on racism.
This amateur video shows Walter Scott turning and running away from the officer. Till this happens. 8 shots and 5 seconds later, the 50-year-old unarmed man falls to the ground and is pronounced dead at the scene later. Michael Slager, a white officer with the North Charleston Police Department, was arrested on Tuesday. If found guilty of murder, he could face up to life in prison or death.
The officer said that Mr. Scott attacked him and pulled his taser and tried to use it on him, but somebody was watching.
Hallelujah!
There was a witness that came forward with the video, and the initial reports were wrong.
We can't get my brother back, and my family is in deep mourning for that. But through the process of justice has been served, and I don't think that all police officers are bad cops, but there are some bad ones out there. And I don't want to see anyone get shot down the way that my brother got shot down.
Events unfolded on Saturday after Scott's car was stopped for a broken rear light. He had been arrested 10 times earlier, mostly for failing to pay child support or show up for court hearings.
A tragic day for many. I'm sure the family is going through remorse over the loss of a loved one, and when you hear news, it's still tragic.
We've got 343 police officers in our department. This is a bad decision by one of those 343. And I think the lesson that we take out of this, and hopefully the general public takes out of it, is that when an incident occurs, give us the appropriate time to investigate, find out exactly what happened, and we will act accordingly.
The shooting is the latest in a string of controversial deaths involving white officers and black suspects. Michael Brown's death in Ferguson, Missouri touched off protests and sparked a nationwide debate over race and policing. A White House task force has recommended a host of changes to the nation's police policies. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the Greek Prime Minister met Russian President Vladimir Putin today in an effort to bail out the troubled nation. Greece is hopeful for a financial bailout to tide over its worst credit crisis in recent times. Prime Minister Tsipras flew to Russia yesterday to discuss issues relating to economic cooperation, bilateral investments and exports. He is expected to sign an array of accords with Russian President, including a 3-year plan to strengthen economic and commercial ties. Greece is racing against time to meet a Thursday deadline to repay a €450 million loan to the International Monetary Fund. It's negotiating desperately with the European Union and the International Monetary Fund to unblock a bailout package and could run out of funds within weeks. Russia is considering bailing out Greece in exchange for the country's assets. In yet another desperate move, the Greek government said Germany owed Greece nearly €279 billion in war repatriations for the Nazi occupation during World War II. Now all the other international news and updates in Global Buzz. Hundreds of flights were cancelled to and from France after air traffic controllers started a 2-day strike over working conditions. The controllers are asking airlines to cut scheduled flights by 40%. Short-haul flights are among the worst affected. US Secretary of Defense Ash Carter was in Tokyo for his first official Asian tour. He was welcomed by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Carter said US President Barack Obama was looking forward to Abe's visit in a few weeks and also to complete a new set of guidelines for a historic alliance to ensure peace in the region. Taiwanese President Ma Ying-jeou said his country will follow past practice to join the Beijing-backed Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank as Chinese Taipei. China welcomed Taiwan's letter of intent to participate in the bank under an appropriate name. The Kenyan government has ordered closure of 13 money transfer firms to prevent militant Islamists from using them to finance attacks. Bank accounts of 86 individuals and entities were also frozen. Most of those targeted are believed to be Somalis and Muslims. The move comes after an assault by the Somalia-headquartered Al-Shabaab group that killed 148 people at Kenya's Garissa University last week. Well, that's all from Ascapine.